once you know how to price your work in a way where if someone pays $100, they feel like they're getting $500 worth of value, why would you not charge $1,000 and find a way to give $5,000 worth of value? In today's video, I'm gonna be talking about pricing psychology as it relates to creative entrepreneurs. So if you are an illustrator, a creative writer, a photographer, videographer, anyone who has a product or service to offer right now, this video is gonna be for you. It's gonna show you how you can price your work at the level that you want, probably even higher than you would expect, while also making it clear that the person who's buying is getting more value than they're paying. And once you learn this skill, you'll realize, oh my gosh, the sky is the limit. Because once you know how to price your work in a way where if someone pays $100, they feel like they're getting $500 worth of value, why would you not charge $1,000 and find a way to give $5,000 worth of value? So I'm telling you, I basically go through 3 different ways to use pricing psychology. The final one is going to be a game changer if you sell digital products online. So stay tuned for this. I also offer at the very end of this video my new ebook, which will have $147 worth of free bonuses. So that'll be in the link in the description, but I'll talk about that later. Enjoy the video. Hey, if you're new here, my name's Sean. I'm an author, filmmaker, and podcaster who's been doing this for almost 5 years now. And on this channel, I focus on helping artists and just anyone with real creative talent figure out how to market it effectively to turn a profit, to turn passion into a full-time gig. And in today's episode, I want to focus on a very specific element that I think is going to be immensely practical to anyone who sells a digital product online. So what is a digital product? This can be anything from an ebook to an online course, might be an email course, it might even be just an hour-long masterclass, so a video, maybe it's a secret podcast, so an hour-long audio clip. Basically something where you have this piece of content, but you can only get the content by paying for it. So when I talk about pricing, there are 2 things. The first obvious one that I'll hit on is you're probably pricing things way too low. And I think the reason people do that is a mix of, ooh, I don't want to be greedy, I want to make sure everyone can receive this product. I'm not going to focus on that element of the psychology because it is wrong, but that would be a whole other video. But what I want to focus on today is, let's say you do feel like you're pricing your work high enough. Maybe you're charging $50 for a 60-minute video. But the question becomes, how do you justify the price? And that's what this video is going to be about today. So there are a couple things that I want to talk about when it comes to pricing psychology. And so this is the psychology of the buyer. So I'm not talking about your own insecurities about pricing, but when someone is looking at the thing, considering purchasing your ebook, your masterclass, etc., what is going through their head? And what makes something worth it to them versus it feels like a ripoff? So I'm going to talk about 3 different methods. These are ways of altering prices to make them more appealing psychologically. And so the first one is probably my least favorite, but it's done quite often. And that is good old discounting. So you see this in retail stores all the time. We've got a 25% off everything sale. We've got 30% off this section, 30% off from this day to that day. We are very familiar with discounted prices. But the reason I don't like using that when you're selling a digital product is because, well, for one thing, I think if everyone really thought about it, we'd realize, okay, it costs you $0 to put that online. You're not having to pay a certain fee to have your ebook on a website that you're selling. So the discounting feels very false to us. So I think that's obvious if you give it a little bit of thought. But the other element is when you notice a company or a brand or even a solopreneur, an artist, is constantly discounting work from time to time, you're not going to buy unless you see a discount. And I know plenty of brands like that. I think Bed Bath & Beyond is a great example. I mean, I remember when I was going into my college dorm, it was like, well, we're not going there until we get that 25% off, 30% off everything coupon. And so it probably worked for them, but for you, you don't want to get your buyers in the habit of waiting for a discount. So that's the main reason I don't like that. But that is only one of 3 methods of adjusting, altering, rationalizing price, and it's my least favorite of the 3. The second one is very, very similar, but psychologically different. So let's say you're very new as an artist and you don't have too much client work. You're willing to do some stuff for free just to build up testimonials. I think that's very common and a very smart strategy. But you also don't want to discount your creative talent. So what can you do instead? Let's take something like a 60-minute coaching call or consulting call. For this example, we'll say that you are an illustrator or a graphic designer who is helping a local business. And let's say for this consulting session, you charge normally $300 an hour. But you're like, well, I know they're not going to pay you $300. I don't have any clients that I've worked with. I don't have any testimonials. So I really should just offer to do it for free. But the way that you would do it in this instance is as you approach them, you say, hey, I'm willing to buy $300 of my consulting time to spend on you. Again, we're talking about psychological differences. You are offering the same thing. You're offering it for free. But when you buy your own time, what you're doing is saying, hey, you and I both know that I'm worth $300 an hour. But in this one instance, I'm going to be doing you a favor in buying $300 of my time. And so even though the other person has not spent $300, they've gotten $300 worth of value. And the reason is because you told them, because you're telling them how much you're worth. So that is super, super valuable if you are new to things as a creative. If you're trying to build up your portfolio to start working with more clients, more high-paying clients, instead of discounting your work and just kind of slowly tearing yourself up, start at that max capacity and just discount. You know, maybe you are a graphic designer doing logo design. You normally charge $3,000 for a kind of full brand refresh kit. But maybe you start out buying the $3,000. You give it for free. But maybe that next client, you say, hey, this normally costs $3,000, but I'll do it for you for $300. I'm willing to buy $2,700 worth of my time because I see the value in helping your company, because I see the value in the testimonial you might give me, et cetera, et cetera. So when you are doing that, buying your time, what's the exchange? They're not getting, in that sense, you're giving everything for free, but you're making sure, hey, if I do the job I say I'm going to do, if I over-deliver like I know I will, if you get the results that I know I can guarantee for you, then in that case, will you give me a strong testimonial, a video testimonial? Will you endorse me for all your other businesses that you know? So something like that. So you do get value out of it, even though you are just giving away work for free. Again, but you're buying your time for someone else. But that's only 2 out of 3 strategies. The third, which is going to relate more towards digital products. I know I just talked about more of service-related purchases, but for this last one, it's instead of discounting, instead of buying your time for someone else, you were stacking on bonuses onto an original offer, and those bonuses have monetary value. So let me break that down so it's super, super simple. Let's say you have a 20-page ebook. It's not very long. It really wouldn't work as a print book. But, you want to charge $20 for it. You just put some effort into it. It's very educational. If someone applies what is in the ebook, they will get whatever skill you're promising they'll get. So you don't want to discount the price. You don't want to give it away for free. So what do you do instead? Well, let's say, and just to make it concrete, let's say this is a 5-chapter ebook on character design if you want to become like a comic book artist. Here's how you design a character. It's the step-by-step instructions. Now, what I would recommend in that instance is to record yourself doing a design. So you have now a written version, a video version, and that video version can be worth $50. That could be worth $100. And the reason that you can say it's worth $50 or $100 is because you are buying that. So it's the same strategy from before. You are buying your bonuses on behalf of someone else. So even if they're paying for the original product at market rate, they're not getting a discounted price. The bonuses are free, but you're buying them because they normally would cost $50. They normally would cost $100. And so I want to get more into detail on what these bonuses can be. I just mentioned one example of doing some type of walkthrough, some type of tutorial. So let's say your book is more educational, do this, then this, then this. It's not very creative, it's just a how-to guide. But then in your bonus content, it might be worth adding a mindset video. If you're getting stuck, if you're getting frustrated, here's this 20-minute video to break out of any procrastination rut, to get out of writer's block, etc., etc. So that's what I'd recommend. Have a mindset element and have a specificity element, a walkthrough, a how-to element. And the beauty is, as you make more digital products over your career as a creative, is that you can start stacking bonus on top of bonus on top of bonus on top of bonus. And so again, what do I mean by that? Well, you made that ebook, you sold it for $20, you had been running it for a few months, sales kind of, no one's really buying it anymore. So you go on to your next digital product. And now with that digital product, you say, hey, now I'm also going to offer that previous ebook as a free bonus. And you can do that every time you iterate with a new digital product. So that is the beauty of that strategy of once you start adding bonus offers, is that every time you're done selling a product, you can add that as a bonus to your next thing. But the main thing is don't overcomplicate it. Your bonus should not be so long that it's probably worth its own, paid offer. With the exception of, like I said, if you've already tried to sell it or you did sell it in the past and now you're adding it on. So that's the only exception. And I do want to mention one other thing as it comes to bonuses, and this is something that I use personally, is, we've got our ebook. It's a how-to guide of some sort. Another bonus element that I really love to add is either a 15-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute, and you can call this any number of things, but it is a one-on-one call. This might be a coaching call, a consulting call, a strategy session, a critique. So let's say someone is an artist and they just bought your how-to guide. Hey, if you buy this ebook, you will get a $75 voucher, and that's what my $15 of time is worth. And I will one-on-one, live, critique your character design, give you tips, give you more specific, tailored advice. And so once you realize that, you're like, oh my gosh, should I be charging $50 for this book? Because I'm stacking on a $75 deal, maybe a $50 walkthrough. So that is what I'd recommend when it comes to pricing. When it comes to selling your digital product, stack bonus on top of bonus on top of bonus, and make sure that it has a monetary value. And you'll probably notice I've just been throwing out numbers like $50, $75, $100. The reason I'm using those numbers is because that is what I've seen on the market. So I'm not necessarily pulling these out of thin air, but it's quite a common thing that you'll see as you see people selling digital products, most likely to you, because that's where you're going to notice it the most. So if you got value out of this video, then I highly recommend you look at the first link in the description, click on it, and that's going to have a link to my new package. It's a ebook that's going to be 40 pages, and it'll also come with a 15-minute strategy call where we are going one-on-one custom tailoring advice, marketing advice, evergreen marketing advice that will help your creative brand grow. I mean, I know I just talked about pricing psychology in this. This is like the tip of the iceberg of the stuff that I can share to help actually make money from your art skills. So I'm not trying to, blow smoke up your ASS. I'm trying to explain that I know a lot of stuff about direct response marketing. And I also have a strong affinity to artists, to creatives. So I want to bring the two worlds together. So check out that link, read some of the stuff, but at the very bottom, that's going to be where you can buy the book. It'll come with the coaching call as well as an artist archetype assessment. So look at that. And if nothing else, look at it to see how I price my work, because that might give you some ideas for your own offers as you start to sell your own things online. So I wish you the best. Check that link in the description, click it, buy the book. It'll come with all the other cool bonuses, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks.